Hey, I think the stream is on. Yeah, I think so. It's coming up. It's coming. This is a different streaming position, and I'm sat down. So I hope everybody's well. It's a little bit of a mess today because this is a very new setup. I haven't even got my Stream Deck working, therefore we don't have any intro music. Sadly, and I'm gonna have to press buttons manually like a caveman to switch scenes. So this will be fun. Today we're going to be doing some Stripe, and what I would like to do is work on the webhooks, the webhook side of things, and just sort of experiment and play. I guess there's two. If I was to be a bit serious about this, there's two things to do. First of all, I need to work on a mechanism in order to receive a webhook, an event from Stripe, and then save that event. So verify the event, save the event in the database, and then the second part, which we may not even get to, but the second part of this is to create some Symfony console scripts, some jobs that will pick up the queued events. I suppose we would use the database like a queuing system, I guess, and then process those events. But we probably won't get to that today. Okay, it's so weird having, like, I've recently upgraded my monitor, and it's so weird having all of this space. It's lush. Okay, bear with me. Weird, but also I'm keeping an eye on the stream itself because I don't want to obviously show anything like my notes on stream. And of course I've signed into Stripe and all. I don't want to show that on stream. Let me change the scene manually to the code window. Okay, so essentially what I've done, and hang on a minute, let me just move that away. Let's put that under there. A load of stuff. Hey, Mr. DB303, thank you for joining today. I hope you're having a good weekend. Let's get rid of that. Sorry, I'm just tidying and moving things around on my desktop so I can actually see things. There we go. Okay, so this is the local site. Now, I suppose I should say straight off the bat here is that I have recently, as in this morning, I'm now running off of my Mac Mini, not my iMac. My iMac is on the floor waiting to be moved somewhere else. So I'm running off of my Mac Mini, and I've literally just today pushed the code to this Mac Mini, installed it all. So my machine is very, very vanilla right now. I haven't done a migration. I have literally just started from scratch because, you know, after a while, your computers get covered in rubbish that you've accumulated over the years. So I decided it would be a good opportunity for me to start fresh. So, which is great on one hand because, you know, you can start, you know, you can work on your directories and your scripts and your configuration in a better way than you've done before. But it's bad because everything that I assume is installed isn't installed. So anyway, what I'm saying is I've literally just ran this howtocodewell.local. This is the hook Stripe event, and in the code, where are we? Here. All right. So what I've done is I've created this sort of controller called hook controller, and we have our little hook mechanism thing going on here. So we grab the data from the request, and we decode that, and that returns an event we construct an event from the content, and then from there I can then go away and do bits and pieces. So with Stripe, there's a great way of doing a CLI, sort of a test webhooks. And I've literally only started playing with this today. So there's going to be a lot of learning. There's going to be a lot of learning, a lot of reading of documentation, and a lot of mistakes. I guess what I need to do is... So this is the CLI, and that is the this is the logs for pushing stuff up to from Stripe, and then these are the triggers, and then this is the logs of my web server. That's right. I'm not worried about I'm not overly worried about security at the moment. Not greatly. I'm going to be removing all the secrets and everything, so you can see the signing secret here and other bits and pieces. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm not very worried about verifications at this stage. It's only running off of local. None of this is live. So this is like I said, this is the access logs, or the dev logs of the Symfony app. This here is the triggers. So you can see I've been playing around with this today. Yes, 11. Yes, early in the morning. No, that wasn't. Well, anyway, you've seen me play with that, and then that's the links, and then this will tell me what's going on. So we can hit this, and I've done this as well through Postman. So I'll just show you Postman quickly. So this is Postman. So it's making a request to howtocodewell.local hook Stripe event, and it's just returning hello world, because you have to return a 200. You have to return something, and that's just printing out that's the body, isn't it? Yeah. So there's a bunch of things I need to work on. First of all, something that I've just noticed is that this isn't actually confined to a get or a post. So that's something that we need to deal with. Let's do... I've forgotten how that's how we do that. Isn't it method or something like that? Methods. And you put in post. So now if I was to run this as Postman as a get request, that should fail. I think. I hope. That will just go, can't find it. That's an interesting question. Question for you, since I can't find a good answer online. I'm currently on a normal coax cable internet connection, which is 150 megabytes a second. Nice. And 10 up. To have those kind of speeds. Mine is only like 20, so... I can upgrade to fiber optic. Nice. For a bit more. Will the fiber connection improve my ping in game? Yes. Keep in mind that the server is far away. Oh, okay. So, okay, a ping of 50 to 60 I think is okay, isn't it? To begin with. Will it improve it? It's not going to do any worse. It's not going to make it any worse. Yeah, I think it will. But you're talking to someone who doesn't game a lot, so... And who thinks that 50 to 60... Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a different league, man. I don't know. I would imagine it will improve, but I cannot say by how much, or I can't even say if it's worth it. But I guess for you, as you're a semi-pro, it's like, the smaller the ping, the better, right? So I would imagine that any little help would be good, right? I mean, it's not going to get any worse. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not going to get any worse. But that's all I can say. Apologies. Couldn't find a constant here. Oh dear, have I screwed something up? The first line of code I run and it doesn't work. I think that needs to be like this, right? Right, let's try that again. And I want to go to Postman again. So many windows. So this should hopefully just go 404. Yay, it did. No route found. So if I was to change that to a post, because essentially, right, what I want to do is eventually get to a point where I can actually mimic Stripe events and run those as test events. Okay, so this is checking for the Stripe signature now, which I put in play here before the stream. Is there a way I can require this in the root? Yeah, I wonder if there is. Let me see. Because that would help so much. Let's do root Symfony check headers. Is there a way to define? So you got root parameters, right? This is the parameters of the root of the, you got the slug and everything. But is there a way to analyze the header? Have a requirements on the header? I don't know. Let's have a look for header. Here we go. Request.headers.get user agent matches. Yeah, this is what I'm after here. We've got a condition. I wish there was a way of opening this up to see it more. Condition context.get method in get and head. So expressions can also be included in config parameters. To include config parameters, request header.get matches. Okay. So so it's the signature header. We want to make sure that there is that in here somehow. So header request header.get user agent. Is there a way of doing like let's grab that. It's a condition, right? So it's a condition. Let's bring this out a little bit. Give it a little bit more room. Right, let's tackle that. Let's remove that. Let's put in a comma. Okay, so I guess we need to... Yeah, here we go, condition. Thank you, my IDE. It's a good job I set that up. Condition is request dot header. Is it header or headers? Headers, okay. Dot get. And we're looking for this header. At least I think we are. Yeah. there's something in here, matches. The value of condition option is any valid expression and can use any of these variables created by Symfony. Okay, so let's have a look at what the expression language expression is. Supported literals, bitwise, don't need to worry about bitwise, strings, arrays, hashes, nulls. So I guess one thing we could do is to say is not null or something like that. I don't want to check whether 1 equals 1. It's like whether 1 is not empty. Ternary, so foo, yes, no, equal to foo, right. Don't know. Aha, logical operators, not. So, could I do this? So, could I do matches? Or could I do, instead of matches, can I do request? It's got to be in the quotes, right? So, not null. Is that possible? Let's see. So we've done our post request, and we hit send. We don't have any headers. Unexpected token around. I don't think that worked. Oh, that's a shame. That would have been so slick if I could have done that. Request headers.get not null. So not. I don't know if I can even do this. Request.headers.get is, oh, come on, someone must have had this before. I can't be the only one. Symfony check headers in root. How to restrict routing matching through conditions. It doesn't really give me a lot to go on here. Context.get method, so that's saying that if the method is head and get, that's fine. And request.headers.get user agent matches Firefox. That's a regex. So what is that in PHP? Don't think that's using HTTP with routing to return different contexts. No, that's not it either. Come on, this must be straightforward. Come on, it must be. It must be. Okay, what's the error here? Unexpected token. So it's a token, it's the operator, which is not. The operator is not valid. So, logical operators or not isn't valid. I wish there was a way I could see extending. Is there a way of seeing this in annotations? All I've got here is matches. I don't think there's any other optional parameters. No, there's no other examples, is there? Extra parameters, get the root name prefix, special roots. What's that? Redirecting, all that jazz, localized roots, stateless roots, generating URLs. No. I mean, I suppose I could just drop it into PHP and then check it with PHP, but it'd be nice to do it in a root. Alright, so it's something to do with that not. And let's have a look at the code for a second. The code is that not null. And it's this. That's the problem. I guess I could use a matches and do some regex, I guess. I mean, to be fair, I don't actually know what it is that I'm looking for. I guess it would be something like A to Z, something like that. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. That doesn't seem right. That seems valid in my head. And if I was in SQL land, it would be that. Let's try it. So I either want this to 404 or there's another unexpected token here again. Let's visualize that. Nope, preview that, please. Unexpected name, token name of is. Okay, so there we go. Not. Unexpected token name of is around position 46 of is not null. Hang on a minute. Thinking about this, isn't this checking if that is true? Maybe I should just drop it into PHP and then check the signature. Yeah, I think I'm overcomplicating it. Let's just drop it into PHP. So we've already said that it needs to be a post request. I think the first validation is to make sure that there is a signature. So I could do something like request headers get this dude, bung it in here. So this is the event signature and or that's the signature header. I got these from the documentation, that's why they're underscores. Signature header. I guess we would do if empty signature header, then we would just throw them out. We would just do well, we would do throw new something like that. So we would throw them out, and we probably pass that as well, it's not really a HTTP code, is it? But well, it is. But Something like that, maybe. I don't know. Let's just see. Or return a response or something. Maybe I should return a response. Who knows? Here we go. Signature header not found. It is a 500, so not a 400 as I said. I think what I might do is send them back a return a new response with a blank thing and 400. I don't want to give anything away, you know. I just don't want it to continue. There we go, 400 bad response. Okay. Okay, so say we've got this now. So I'm gonna create myself a header in here called and it should now skip this. That's fine. We've got this now. That goes into there. I'm gonna have to deal with that secret in a minute. But if I had a look at this here, let's bring that up a wee bit. I just bung it right to the top. It's this thing I want down here. That's the log. And if I hit send and then went straight to here, we should see, hopefully, yay, we got some logging going on. So we have a Stripe event. Boom, boom, boom. So, okay, so we've got the logger going on, which is this thing here. What I would like to do is create my own context. So, let's create a context. It's that up there, isn't it? In fact, that needs to be, we need to put this in here. There we go. Let's deal with that one first, shall we? So we're going to call this Stripe Webhook. And I guess let's just run that through once more. Because what I'm looking for, here we go. Down, where are we? This is the context, isn't it? So where is, did that actually, that went through? 400 bad request. Why is that a bad request? What have I done wrong? Why is that landed in there? If that is empty, that would return null or a string. And we're passing that through as a header. Why is that 400? Why? What? It's a post request. Confusion. Populated. Where's the? This is a very weird output. Where is the this is what we're landing on. It's a post request. That's what we've got. It's doing some guard authentication or checking for stuff. Matched route. It doesn't support the request, no. But it is returning a bad request. Why? I'm pretty sure that it wasn't earlier. Is it because it's now landing into here and it's screwing up? Let's just comment this out for a second. No, I'm doing something really silly, aren't I? What am I doing that's silly? Right, it's landing in here. It's landing in here because signature header is equal to headers get this. And it's saying if that is empty, then return this. And yet this is on the header. That's the same thing. So I don't understand why it's not empty. All right. Let's dump it out. Let's dump the request. I'm probably getting it in a wrong way, aren't I? All. I wonder if it's prefixed by something. It might be. Here we go. So we got the context type, JSON, user agent, which is Postman, Postman token, host. Yes, all of this is fine. Can't actually see that header. Why is that header not through? Oh man. That sucks. So it's a Postman thing. Must be. Must be. Great. We can also see the Interesting. That now works. On the headers. No, I didn't pass that back, did I? Interesting, because I've changed that to none. And we did go for raw. Oh, is it because I needed to put the headers in the raw thing? Oh, probably why, isn't it? Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work, is it? It needs to. We need to pass a body through, right? Form data, maybe. Is there any way I can change? I don't know. Hold fire. Why did that not? Why did that not? Something's not. Something isn't wired up properly here. Because that we should have returned. We should have. That hits there. Let's get rid of these try and catches for a minute because these are silent. That should have hit that and printed out the headers, not returned hello world. I'm having a right mare at the moment. Here we go. Visualize this. Oh, preview this, sorry. Syntax error. Aha. Okay, so this is a syntax error because it's not JSON. That makes sense. And if we were to yeah, it's a JSON exception. If we were to run it as raw, I wonder if I need to, and then hit this. I wonder if I need to manipulate this to be JSON. I mean, it says it's the context type is JSON. I wonder if on the headers, I just don't understand why that's not coming through. Don't understand. Don't understand why the header isn't coming back. Context type is that. User agent is here. Except postman token is that. Is there a way of getting the curl of this? There must be a save example. Must be something. I'm sure I've seen some way of I mean, what's the point in having the headers if the headers, I mean, that number doesn't even increase. Am I doing something completely daft here? I must be. This is ridiculous. I must be doing something stupid. Absolutely bonkers. All I want is to. I reckon it's because I'm doing it on raw. I reckon it's on the raw. Let's see if I can get an example of Postman raw body example. Building requests. Sending body data. Sending data. If you're sending body data, make sure you have the correct headers selected to indicate the content type of your API. For form data, the URL, Postman will automatically attach content type. If you're using in raw mode, in your Postman will set a header based on the type. Okay. There's something in here about configuring request headers. Here we go. So we're on the headers tab. Some APIs require you to send particular headers, i.e. like mine, for instance. Enter any key value pair, such as content type. Yada, 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 yada. I mean, it doesn't auto-generate headers, hovering over a header. It doesn't seem like I'm doing anything silly, but, you know. Okay, what's this? What's going on here? Is this a JSON thing again? Because it's like, you need to do it in JSON. Yeah, it is. So it needs to be in here then. And we are setting it as JSON, you can see. But why is it not sending over this? Foo! Come on. We've got foo. Okay, that's weird. That is so strange. So foo came in. But that's so weird. This hasn't come through. Is it because it's HTTP underscore? It might be. I'm wondering if that's a reserved thing. So that should say, no, it doesn't. I reckon, let me just remove that. Let's just try that out. No? It can't have anything to do with lowercase, can it? Is it something to do with the? Is it something to do with the with that? With the hyphen? Yeah, must be. Okay, I'm gonna have to Google this. Stripe Webhook header signature. I didn't realize that headers cannot have underscores. What's this? I'm using the test Stripe bloody bloody blah. The webhook sends the following information to me. The Stripe signature. They're using Stripe hyphen signature. And I'm just gonna load this up over here for a second. Bear with me a minute. In this example, they are using http://stripe_signature. Aha, it says here, use one of the official libraries to verify signatures. You perform the verification by providing the event payload, the Stripe -signature header. This is where I got it wrong. And the endpoint secret. If the verification fails, Stripe returns an error. Yeah, okay. All right. So in the documentation, they have, I'll just have a look at the docs for Python here. No, it's still that. Strange. All right. So it is Stripe hyphen. It is that. That is what I'm looking for. All right. Ah, dear. Right. That is what we're looking for. Okay. So. Right. Let's now run this again without that debugging in. We should get a hello world. And we should get this passed into the logs, I think. Yeah, here we go. That's the context that I was looking for. App.info is the type of log, and then we have a Stripe event, which is Stripe Webhook. Sweet. And it's returning hello world. Okay, fine. We're back in the room. It was just, I was having a problem with the documentation has http://stripe_signature as the server parameter. And I got confused with that as on the header. But anyway, we've solved it now. Okay, so at some point I need to verify that signature, right? I need to confirm that and all that jazz. That's good. Then we've got the endpoint coming in here. I tell you what, let's print. We got the type there. The event comes in from here, right? So we construct an event. That's the signature that I need to pass in through my app. The secret. So that's API secret. All right, let's see if we can actually get something through the doors of Stripe. So I'm going to run, because I've already logged in to my Stripe account through the webhooks, through the CLI. So I can run Stripe trigger payment intent .created. We're going to press play on this. We should see, hopefully, one coming through here, and we should also see stuff coming through there. And we should also, hopefully, fingers crossed, see... Let's put that in here for a second. There we go. We should also see the type returning in the logs. So if I did... Stripe event type. There we go. All right. Okay, let's see if we can get this to run. Pressing enter now. Checking for a version. Triggers created. The payment intent has gone through. So that's hit my server now. There we go. We got some routing. And we have a Stripe event, and then we've got a critical error. No signature found. Okay. I see. Okay. So I need to deal with that. I suppose what I should do is, so we got a 500 server error here. I suppose what I need to do is put that into, I guess like an event environment variable and pass that in or something. So yes, that's what I need to do. Hey Segfault, thank you for joining today. Sorry, I've been off of the chat because I've been struggling with the docs. Getting my hyphens and underscores all over the problem, all over the shop. Hope you're doing well. What's up with the music, Marco? Yeah, how dare I be productive? I don't know. I don't feel very productive. Is my music too loud? Am I too loud? Marco's saying, thankfully now I have pipe wire. I don't know what that is. And I can muffle your sound. Oh, maybe I sound better when I'm muffled. Oh, that's great news, Segfault. Moving into senior engineering. Nice. What do you mean, Marco? No, it's not. As in, is it too loud or too quiet or not? You can't hear it or it's just rubbish? Oh, that's nice. I have literally set up like my desk from scratch today because I got a new monitor last week, and I've replaced the iMac with my MacBook Mini, and literally this is the only project I've got running on this MacBook Mini at the moment. Just set it up for the stream, really. So everything is new, everything's fresh, everything is clean. Oh, that's clever, Marco. That's very clever. I didn't realize you could do that. So it detects the voice. What if I sing? Don't worry, I won't do that. I just come out in a musical number or something. Oh gosh, could you imagine? Lol. Yeah, it sounds really clever. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so I got a new monitor which basically takes the whole of my desk. So I've replaced the iMac, which was the old 2015 27-inch 5K monitor thing. And I replaced it with this nice little, nice, it's not little, this nice monitor, which meant that using the MacBook Mini, so everything's nice and fresh on here, which meant that I had a clean slate to adjust all the levels and start from scratch. So I hope everything does sound good, or better. I suppose the next thing I need to do now is work on, and I'm also sat down, which is different. Yeah, I suppose the next thing so we've established a request from Stripe, from, as I showed, that went through okay. However, we've got an error here with the signatures. So I think this is what this job is about. So I need to pass that in somehow. And I'm starting to think that maybe I need to hand this off to a service. Maybe some service that has some knowledge about Stripe, has the dependencies of my my Stripe API key, I suppose from a very basic standpoint of what this controller is trying to do is it just grabs the webhook, hands it off to a service, and then returns with a status code. That's essentially all it's doing. And I was reading a lot of info over the last few weeks about how best to do this, and I still haven't decided yet, like really decided on the architecture and the structure of how Stripe is going to be, how I'm going to capture Stripe events and all of this jazz. But one of the core themes that everyone was saying was you need to do this quickly. It can't be like, you can't wait for the request to be fulfilled. You need to just grab the event, store it somewhere, and then send an OK message back. You can't have Stripe hanging about whilst your request fulfills. So this means handing it off to some form of queue or some form of something that will pick it up and generate it later, which is why I want to go down the route of perhaps having some scheduled jobs going, or something that picks up the stored payload. So basically, yeah, I want to store the payload in a database, in a table, and then deal with that at whenever I can. So this controller here basically should just grab the payload or grab the request, send it to something, and then return an OK message back, regardless of whether the payload is good or not. I mean, there's obviously a bunch of checks that you can do, like making sure that there is a signature. There's also security things that I will be putting in place for things like making sure that only the Stripe IPs can touch this. This shouldn't be a publicly accessible endpoint. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. I don't think my controller should have any knowledge of the API secret. I don't think that's wise, because the service that I'll hand it off to will need to have that knowledge anyway. So, okay, so I need to create a service and I need to pass this through. After we do the initial check, we've made sure that it's post and we've got a check of the Stripe signature. I think that's all I need to do right now. The next thing is to then send this off somewhere. And I did have a provider handle request, and the idea here was this was going to generate an entity that replicated the event. So maybe we could do something with that. If I was to uncomment that and go into here, the idea was that we had the request, and it would generate, it basically do a little bit of what that thing was doing, but we could pass in the API key here, couldn't we? This is what I was playing with yesterday. This is what I was screwing about with yesterday, but I didn't have it connected to Stripe. I was just throwing stuff at it. So maybe we could pass in the Stripe API key in here as a service param, passing in perhaps even the parameter bag, and then have a method which will create the event, make the event such as this, and then once I have the event, I can then do things with it. How to sing well. I just got what you meant. I was like, how to sing well? What's that? And then I was like, yeah, because I'm how to... Lol. Right, okay, so I think I've convinced myself that I need to pass in... I need to send this request, which we have, so there's no need for this. That's just checking the signature. We pass in the request into here. And essentially, this is going to do all this stuff. I'm even thinking that we should pass in this and it should just handle the request. But anyway, one step at a time, shall we? So, I think I might do this as a BKP, just to start fresh. Handle that request, please. Passing in the request. I'm going to just dump that in here for a second. I'm not sure what I should return yet. I suppose we do need to get the parameters from here. I'm going to create private API key, which is a string. And this is going to be my, well, it's actually an API secret, isn't it? Okay. We do need to get that header, and we also do need the logger as well. Yeah, sod it. Let's just put everything in the service. Why not? What could possibly go wrong? I suppose. Okay, yeah, I'll work on what that could be later. So that's that done. So we need to pass that in somehow. I suppose this is going to be parameter yeah, maybe start with the simplest. Those are some very good words there, Op Davis. Start with the simplest implementation, then refactor. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just a shame that my mind is going a million miles an hour. I'm about my brain is like 5 steps ahead of where I am at the moment. So somehow I need to get that through. We can do that through the parameter bag, that's fine. Then here we do... We do need to get the signature. I'm wondering if we need... What was I thinking when I was doing this? It was returning a Stripe webhook. Okay. Yeah. Okay, give me a couple of minutes. Bear with me a second. I'm going to see if I can get... just give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to just play around with my ENVs. I don't even know if I've got... Yeah, I do have them set. However... Give me a second. Lol. Let's bring that down a wee bit. It's so good having this big monitor. I can just throw things around. As long as they're not in the top left-hand corner, it's fine. Stripe CLI is configured with account. This is my webhook signature in here. Okay, I gotcha. Because I'm doing it locally, it's obviously not the same thing, right, as the thing I've just... So we're gonna create a new one. I'm gonna call this Stripe. There we go. Right, and then I need to pass that into my config, which is in services, I think. There we go. Here we are. Right, I'll lowercase this. Webhook. What did I call it? Webhook signature. There we go. And that is percentage symbol, env, all those things. Paste that in. Another percentage symbol and close that off. Okay, cool. So now, let me just see if I'm sure I've done this before, like passing in parameters. Bag interface, parameter bag interface. Yes. Parameter bag interface, and then from here I am doing a get, and then there we go. Okay, here we go. That I reckon we could do this. I reckon that we can do this. In the provider, paste that in. Yes, I want to do that. This API secret is actually now this thing, get, and it is parameter. Aha, yes, it is that one, right? So it's that, and if we go into here, nope. There we go. Okay, so that's that done. All right, let's just comment that out for a second. Okay, give me a couple of minutes. I'm just playing around with getting the secrets through. Handle request, if empty signature. Okay, that's fine. And then it's this thing here where we've got the event, construct event. I am going to return the event, and in the controller, this is now my event, and we can do logger info but I can get event type, and then event there we go. Right, so I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to run another one, and fingers crossed that's all wired up. Just waiting for the response. Come on. Why is that not coming through? Obviously, I've done something wrong. It's taking its time. That's a bit weird. That's a bit strange. But I will show you what I've done. That is the right thing. I'm sure it's the right thing. I could pass this in through Postman, I suppose. That's what I could do. Yeah, that's what I could do. Okay, right. Because none of this is coming. My logs are empty. It's so weird. It's like it's hit a wall. This is very weird. Okay, let me think about this for a second. Stripe Webhook is here. That is in the... That's what we're getting from... We're doing that. Running this. Pulling that back. Give me a minute. Let me grab Postman for a second. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Let's just try something out. So let's hit that. Come on. Come on, anything in the logs. It's almost like the server's just dropped. It's so weird. Come on, send the request. Okay, something's coming through. And we do have... That is the right thing. So, hang on a minute. So it works when I run it through Postman. But it doesn't work when I run it through the command line. What? That's so bizarre. Bear with me. Sorry. I will be... Aha! We got an exception now. Unable to extract the timestamp and signatures from header at... Unable to extract timestamp and signatures from header. Okay, I'm going to put this back onto play so you can see it, and then we'll work through this together. Let me just get rid of some of these random tabs that I have open. This is the code now. We are passing in the parameter bag, and we're getting the Stripe webhook, which I've verified is correct, and we're passing that into there. However, the error that I'm getting is something to do with timestamps and signatures from header. I think. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so signature verification exception. That's what I'm getting when I run this, which does make sense because I'm running it through Postman, not through Stripe. But the weird thing is, when I do run it through Stripe, like for instance, let's just make a little bit of room here, right? If I do run it through Stripe, so I do a payment intent, do a created payment intent, it's setting up the fixture, it's saying it's triggered. Ah, we never had that beforehand. That never came through. Okay, so now what's going on? It's a 200 OK. Oh my gosh! And we've got the event type here, which is payment intent created. I don't know why, I do apologize, but when I was trying to do this in the secret, it didn't work. It didn't work. Oh, well, there we go. Lol. Okay, so now we've come to a bit of a crossroads with Postman because I can't really go any further because now I'm relying on my API secrets and other bits and pieces that I can't really mimic from Postman. So, this is where we live now. This is where we're at. We've got this handle request. This is running off of the webhook provider. It's named badly. This probably needs to be called webhook handler or something. Then we handle the request. We get the signature as we've done before. So this is the signature of the headers. And then we get the event here, and by passing in the response, the content of the response, and the signature, and the API secret. And we then return an event. And then from the hook, I'm then doing a log event type here. Logger info event type is event, and then the type property, which is this thing here. So this is my little verification sort of thing to say that it actually worked. And the fact that we got a 200 OK here. Okay, so I guess now we've got the bare minimum set up. We can now look at making this a little bit more sort of, as Davis mentioned, refactor it a little bit. So I've put this in here, which is fine, in the handle request. I want to change this to be called handler, I think, rather than provider, because I'm not providing the webhook. I'm handling the webhook. So I'm going to call this webhook handler. And I'm going to do this by renaming the class, which is... where did I put it? I put it in Stripe, I think, and it was in the event. No, it was in hook, and it's in here. So we're going to rename this, refactor rename to webhook handler. I think in my head that makes more sense than a provider. This is where I haven't set this up correctly, have I, on the PHP Storm? Because this, I've literally today is my first day using this this project on this Mac Mini, and I haven't set PHP Storm up correctly. What's this asking me for? Something to do with all I want to do is rename a file. What's this? Cancel? Can I cancel that? No, that didn't even work. Just change the name of the file. Handler. Yeah. Okay. Oh, right. I see now. There's things called handler in here. A provider and stuff. This is my... This looks a bit like Composer, does it not? I don't want to touch that. Why is this? This is the first time I've ever seen PHP Storm do this. I am a bit confused. I don't think I need to... I don't know. If I did a do refactor, is it going to screw this up? I don't know. Let's try it. What could possibly go wrong? Confirm all the things. Yes. What could go wrong? Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, good. Right, okay, so the next challenge. The next challenge is to, once we've handled the request, well, we haven't handled the request, we've just, built the event. I'm going to yeah, I mean, hey, it's not handling, yeah. I need to put this somewhere. This thing here needs to go somewhere. Let's create some little methods. I think one method I should do is get public function get signature from request. Now I'm thinking this should be called request handler, but whatever. Request. I mean, what else would it be? We're going to pass in the request. This is the request in here, and it's just going to return a string. Which is the signature. And it's this thing here. We'll do a check as well in there, but we won't return response. We'll do something a little bit more sensible. We'll throw an exception. I think. Okay. So that returns a string. This then deals with all this stuff. So signature is equal to this get signature from request, passing in the request. Okay. So that's the responsibility of you. I can't spell signature. There's that. Okay, also I want to do a public function. I mean, it doesn't need to be public, but whatever. Public function get event from request. I mean, they shouldn't be public, to be fair. I'm just request. Can't spell. Okay, passing in the request again. Oh, come on. This new keyboard is driving me nuts sometimes. I love it, but it's just... I think the keys are more cramped. I mean, it's great. It's a great little keyboard, but sometimes it just gets in the way. Get event from request. So this is this thing. This also needs the signature. So we do this. Get signature from request. That's a request. It goes into there. Then we return the event. Nice. Okay, so now we don't need any of this stuff. So we've got event. Equals this. Gets event from request. Passing in the request. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, so that boils that down. Now what do I need to do about that once I have the event? When I was playing with this yesterday, and I wasn't dealing with like the whole Stripe side of things, I was just building what I thought could work. What I was thinking is that we would have an entity database table called Stripe Webhook, which would have a status, a payload, and a type, and exception, sort of bits and pieces. And the idea was that I would push this into the database based on the request. So get status is getting the initial status, which would be new. Handling, we've already done that. So now once we have the event, I need to... Now I'm starting to think maybe we should validate it first. I think that's probably wise. Does this come back with any kind of like... Does this event that comes back, what is it? What is it? Is it what do you return? You return an event, as in an event instance. Is there anything I can do? We got an ID, we got an object, we got accounts. So these are all the generic stuff. Okay. Okay. So I could validate these things. Yeah, I might do that. Let's pass in the there. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Everything was unticked. There we go. Add the exception and add that as well. Tidy that up again. Okay, so that works. That's good. Let's inline that. I don't think there's anything else I can do with that, is there not? Oh, I don't know what the tolerance is. Interesting. Okay, so we've got the signature here. Let's tidy that up again. So I guess let's create some comments, shall we? So the first one is to create Stripe event from request. All right. So that's step one. We've done step one. Step two is going to be save event to database. I think. Yeah. Yeah. And then number three, once we've got that, once we've done that, we return success. Yeah, so the next stage then is to push this into the DB, I think. All right, let's create another method down here. Let's call this public function send to save event to save event. All right, so we pass in the event, which is the Stripe event. There we go. So down here, I reckon there needs to be a step above this, to be fair. I think this needs to be validate payload. Oh, validate request. Just because I think there's some validation that I could do before it even gets to generating that event. Like, for instance, making sure that there is a type, making sure that there is a payload. I think that's probably, and that's where my head was at yesterday when I was creating the Webhook Validator. So validating the status, the type, and the payload. But this was returning in this Stripe Webhook, which is the entity that I've created. So I think what I need to do is change this a bit. Yeah. I think I need to change, not have the status check, because there's no need for that, but have a request. We'll get to those in a minute. So in the handler, I now want to do this validator validate, passing in the request, and then only if that's valid do we then continue. So have if this validator is valid, then do that. Alright, so we pass in the request. What I want to do now is, and we pass in, we got these two validation routines here, validate the type and validate the payload. So what we need to do is pass in date, grab data, and this is going to be a JSON decode of request get content, because at this stage we haven't actually done anything with it. We've just literally decoded it. So we're going to pass in data in here. I'm just going to also go to the handler and have a look at my local history a second, because there's something I want to just steal. Let's try down here, one of the earlier ones. Yeah, here we go, JSON decode. I just want to grab that. I can't remember, it's 512, yeah, just the order of the arguments there. There we go. So in validate routine, we grab the data like this. There we go. And then we pass all these things into so we don't need this, we don't need that. That's dead. This is an object. So this, is it a standard object? It returns. I'm sure it is. Return mix, the value encoded in JSON in appropriate PHP format. Value types. What did we do? I'm sure it is a standard object. I'm sure it is. Hang on a minute. Associative. Maybe it's an array. When true, returned objects will be converted into an associative array. Okay. For some reason, I thought that was For some reason, I thought that was an object, but does it say on here when false? Okay, fine, whatever. Let's not worry too much about this then. So let's call these all arrays. Okay, so first thing here is we want to make sure that we have a type. So this would be type would equal data, and I think isn't it that and then type? I may have to print this out or do something just to find that out. Type. Got those the wrong way round. Alright, so if empty, then we have the type is missing. And this also allows me to check valid types as well. So the valid types that I've got going here are the invoice payment succeeded, invoice payment failed, customer subscription deleted. I think there's going to be a lot more. In fact, the one we're using is totally different. It's a payment intent, and it's the payment intent created. I'm not actually too sure. Let's just put that in for testing. Payment created is equal to. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's do the payload. I can't remember what that is. Let me see. There must be on the docs somewhere. Yeah. Too many docs open. So let's do Stripe event example. Okay, I think that's data. I think that's right. I don't know. I'm not sure. Right, so in the handler we validate, and then if it's valid, of course what we need to do is put this in a try catch, obviously. The thing is, how am I going to get... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I am going to put this in a try, a catch block, just because I definitely need logging, right? I need to know, because now we can't do it through Postman as easily. I'm going to need something. I'm telling you, there's going to be errors. So let's also pass in the logger here as well. Okay, so that's... Okay, we're going to do... we'll start this off by doing this. Logger, info. We'll do handling, Stripe event, webhook. Okay, then we will attempt to validate it. I guess we can refactor this. Yeah, we can flatten this. Let's do that, and then so this becomes, if that is not correct, then we will do webhook is invalid, and I can do, well, set this to be error. I can also do for each this validator get... Oh, I don't have a get errors routine on there. I thought I did. I'll build one. Okay, I need to work out what the return is on this, but I can do that later. So let's just return void for now. And okay, so that's that done. So there's no need for that or that. So okay. Right, let's create the get errors routine on the validator, because the errors get stored as an array. Public function get errors, just going to return an array. Come on, enter key. Return this errors. There we go. Boom. Why is this red? What's going on? Oh, it's a void. Okay. I'll work that through as to what that is. But what I need to do down here is do this logger error and pass in the get message. I mean, it's probably going to be in there anyway. But I'm also going to group these. So let's do up here. Again, this all will be refactored at some point. Stripe. This is the context Stripe log. But it would be nice just to get this running. So I'm not going to spend too much time refactoring this yet. I'm just setting it up so I can process this, get this running, and then see, basically just rely on the logs, I think, to see what's going on. So there's going to be a lot of shuffling about. All right, I think I'm ready. Let's just tidy anything up that needs to be tidied up. Okay. Of course, we don't throw any of those anymore because we're catching them. Okay, so let me just look at this in let's just look at this. So we've got fine, and it's not actually returning anything at the moment. That's fine. That can go. In fact, that whole thing can go. Let's get this out. And that. And this. Change this to be handler. He says he's not going to refactor things. Lol. Property only written, never used. Okay. Okay. Back. So, we handled that request. That's all this is doing. It's a very noddy endpoint. Okay, we go into there, we pass in the request. And now we have the info, handling Stripe Webhook. We validate the request, that's the first thing we do. So we need to run through that and actually see if that works. I don't know if that will or not, I don't know. Then we check whether or not it is valid. That's based on how many errors have been captured. So there's an array of errors. So if it isn't valid, then we log it. We loop over the errors and we log these errors. And we return nothing. Next thing we do is if we're at this point, it's valid, we get the event from the response. The event from response is going to grab the signature from, get the event from request. It's going to get the signature from request, and it's going to construct an event based on the request's content, the signature that we've got from here, and the API secret that we've injected. Okay, that makes sense. And then down here, we save the event. Now, what have I done with the save event? Nothing. So I'm going to put in a log message. Down here. This is our goal. If we can get to this point, I'll be happy. So saving webhook. Okay. All right, let's get this running. Let's just see, what could possibly go wrong. Well, all of it. I bet there's going to be a 500 error. Off it goes. Now we've got to look down here for the logs. It's saying that the payment intent.created has come through. Here we go. We've got some logs now. We've got a 200 OK. Interesting. All right, let's scroll up. So here we've got. This is the deprecated jobbies. That's fine. Not worried about that at the moment. The interesting stuff is down here. So we've got handling a Stripe webhook. So that's the first thing. And then we've got an app.error. Warning, illegal string offset type. Ahaha. I reckon this is the JSON stuff. I reckon when we get to here, I reckon it's something to do with... I don't think this is... I don't think it is an array. Is there any way I can log this? That's not right, is it? That's certainly not right. That's not coming back as a... Is there any way I could... Of course there's a way I can test this. Yeah, I could do it in PHP console. I could do it in the... I could do it in the command line. Think. That doesn't give me a line number, does it? Warning, illegal string offset. From here, so that's been captured in here. Can I put anything else in there to give me a better clue? We've got get file, we've got get line, here we go. Maybe if I just don't capture this, it will just put... Yeah, I think I'm trying to solve a problem that's already been solved. If I was to just not... I mean, eventually we want this in a try-catch, obviously. But we also want to log the errors. And I think what I'm going to do, just for ease, is capture all of these things, but then just throw E again. Just because it's going to be in the error, it's going to be in here. So we're going to run it again. Sorry, Stripe, for all these test events. But I suspect it's something to do... Here we go. It's the type, yes, and that's the first one. It's because we were checking the type first and then we were checking the payload. So I've got a feeling it's an illegal string offset. I got a feeling... If I'm correct, I've got a suspicion that it's not actually an array that gets returned. It's an object. And I've got a horrible feeling it's a standard object. Although we would get an error here, wouldn't we? That's the thing. We would get an error at this point. So maybe it is an array, but we just can't find the thing from here. Haha, object. I think that's data. I think that's data. If I was to have a look at one of these examples that I've got on the other screen, or the other half of the screen, we have, yes, the object is event. Oh, man. So it would be data, and in data, we have a type. Yes, I think that's it. Let's run that again. Make a bit of room. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, at least get past this error. Gotta wait. This is going to be very tricky to test, like to have automated tests against. Well, I shouldn't really be firing to Stripe every 5 seconds. Anyway. So we're still waiting. Come on. I'm getting impatient now. Getting very impatient. I'm getting so impatient, I think I'm going to run it again. See, this is what happened last time. It was almost like nothing. It wasn't even, just nothing. I am going to check my dashboard on Stripe and see what's going on. Okay, give me a second. Let's load that up. Where would that be? Somewhere in here. No. Here we go. Here we go, webhooks. Okay. $16.36 is what we've just ran. And the response was no response. Okay. Okay, it's saying that there's no response. That's weird. That's so weird. I can see them in the dashboard being sent. But it's almost like it's stopped listening. Like nothing's come through on the logs, so this is so weird. Okay, that went through. And here we go. Okay, and we got a 500. Undefined index type. Oh, man. So that is here. Comparing it to an example webhook. Here we go, see all. We have ID, we've got object, we've got data. Data, object payment intent. Scroll down. we have type. Oh, okay. Doesn't actually look like it's on that thing. It looks like it's just on. Okay, fine. I think what I'll do is I thought it was. I'll just check the others. So we've got type here, and then we've got data. Data object. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll run it again, and this should hopefully be okay for that one. So I think that was that one. Here we go. Webhook is invalid. Handling. Webhook is invalid. So that would be coming from the validation routine. Webhook is invalid. Here we go. But when we do a for each loop on. Wait. Okay. I haven't actually ran any tests against the validator, so I can't be 100% sure as to why. So we create all the errors. We got is valid. That's not great, is it? Let's do. That's not very good, is it? And we've got this is. I'm going to grab a cup of tea, and I'm also going to just check on Murphy for a minute. I will be back very, very shortly. I don't have one of those silly sort of end screens, so you'll have to just bear with me. I will be back very, very shortly. Okay, let's sort the... There we go. Okay, I think for this bit, I'm going to stand up. I've been sat down all day. Going up. Bye. Okay. Right. So, what I'm going to do now is have a look at the error. Well, there's no errors coming through, which means, which I think there is a problem with this. If is valid is this errors, which is a count, and if the count is less than, is equal to 1, is equal to 0, then it is valid. There we go. So I've got a feeling that was the problem. Although I don't like how I've called all these is valid, it doesn't make any sense. Having a property and a method called the same thing is not good. Let me... Where's my... Come on. It's not... Great. My keys have... Why can't I switch to the next application? That's weird. I think my keyboard has just... Yeah. My keyboard has just given up the ghost. Brilliant. Oh dear. Let me plug it in. Bluetooth keyboards. There we go. Fine. Right. What was I doing again? Oh yeah. Let's run this again. What I do need to do is run some unit tests against all of this. I haven't done any of that. Tut tut tut. And I really should do. Here we go. We're now at saving webhook. Okay. So we've verified it, we've validated it, it's all good. And now we've got to the point where we are now saving the webhook, which is great because it now means that I can play around with the database a bit. Let me just adjust this a bit. Hang on. There we go. There we go. So... Do. This is what I was trying to do down here, wasn't it? Okay. So, okay, so from this point on, we get the status. So we get the new status. We then do Stripe Webhook is equal to new. Set status is the status. We then do we deal with type. So we do set type, and that is coming off of the back of event type. We also have set payload, and that is coming off of the back of event data, I think. Yep. Yep. I believe that's correct. And we need to also do a serialize, because that's obviously an object. We need to change that to be a serialized string. Don't need to worry about the dates. We then need to save. Okay. So I think that covers all of this, which is nice. All right. So I'm going to return this. I'm going to return it. Whoops. Damn it. There we go. Saving webhook is the thing we're going to do. Now, I think there's another thing that we can pull out of this with the event. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is also an ID, which we should really get. I think we should pull out. I'm going to give this an ID. I'm going to do that, and then I think, isn't the ID part of the... Oh, brilliant. So my come on, my mouse has just stopped working. My mouse and my keyboard has just stopped working. This is so weird. I don't know if... Have I lost connection to other things? I don't know. Oh, great. Come on. My mouse and... Okay, that's come back to... Jeez, that's weird. But my mouse still is dead. Sorry about this. Alright, my mouse is back. Good. Is it something to do with the battery? Let's just check. I hope not. I really hope not. 17%. That should be okay for a few more hours. Although that's actually no, that's the wrong mouse. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to grab a cable for my mouse because I think it is running out of juice. Okay, give me a second. This has to be the most dysfunctional stream so far. Everything's been screwing up. Let me plug this in. Hold on. Cables everywhere. Let's take this off now. There we go. Right. So I wanted to see in the signature, in the API reference. This is what I'm looking at, by the way. I'll just bring it up. Yeah, put it in here. This is what I've got off stream that I'm just taking a look at, finding the things. I think I need to store the event ID. I don't think the event ID is stored down here anywhere. I think it's here. So I think I'm going to need to make a change to the database to store the event ID, because at the moment it's just a type and a payload and an exception. So I think I'm going to need to create a string. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'll just use this one. This is ID. So we'll do event ID, which is fine. I think that's fine. And then down here we'll do getters and setters. Oops, sorry. There we go. Getters and setters event ID. Good stuff. So I need to get into the terminal here. We'll keep that. So I just want another one. And let's do it on its side. There we go. Right, we need to do cd into website. We need to do a an eval. And we also need to do a bash. We need to get into bash, don't we? We need to do a bin. This is obviously on a different machine. It doesn't have the history, so I'm looking for doctrine migrate, and I think it's diff. Migrations diff. There we go. That's what I'm after here. So bin console. There we go. And we're going to run a migrate. Yep. Okay, so that's added in the event ID. Nice. Okay, we can get rid of that window now. Ah, great. I don't know why there seems to be a bit of a delay with my keyboard for some reason. There we go. Right, I want that back because I want the logs back. It's not only a delay, but there's also, it seems to, this is going to drive me nuts. Come on. G, S. All right. I need to get into here again, and then it is not that. Oh, come on. Tail. It seems to be remembering the previous history. Something is not right with my keyboard here. Right, I'm just going to type this out because obviously the reverse search is just screwed. So tail minus, I'm not even in the shell now. Oh dear. Right, come on. BASH. Press enter. I need to evaluate the shell, don't I? So 1E, a V, a. There we go. Enter. What's all this about? I pressed enter once. Right, okay. I think I know why. Yeah, I've got I had my Bluetooth on and the cable connected, and I think it was racing against each other. So there we go. There we go. That's better. No, I'm gonna have to write that out. Tail minus F var log devlog. There we go. Back in the room. Apologies for that. So we also need to have another one, which we're gonna just do in this window, I believe. I think. Yeah, we'll bring that up. We'll bring this over here because this one, I want to get into the database. So we want to do MySQL. I don't even know. I haven't even done this, have I? Not on this machine. I've never done it on this machine. Therefore, it's never going to be in my history. Okay, remember the commands. Docker exec -it website _app db1 mysql -u root -p. First time. Use how to code well, and then it is select all from I think I've called it Stripe Web Hook. Have I? Yes, I have. Yes. Okay. And if I did a describe of Stripe Webhook, there we go. So we got our event ID, we got our status ID, and we've got our type, and we got our payload, and we got the exception. Sweet. All right. Okay. So in the hook controller, we just handle the request. The request comes over. I mean, there's an argument to say, why don't we just return it and then allow the controller to save it? But meh. Save the event. So I want to now. This is not an error. This is info. First of all, let's get that sorted. I want to do Stripe set event ID, and the event ID is just event ID. There we go. Right, now I think we're cooking on gas. Let's see if we can get this actually running. So in this terminal, we're gonna run a payment intent. We should therefore get another output here above. And then down here in the logs, we should see that it's been saved. And then we'll do a select from the database, and we should see it all in here, in all its finery. So let's try this. What could possibly go wrong? So that's been sent, that's been created. Now we just got to wait down here to see the fate. We got a critical error here. The editor has a but is not valid. Check. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know why. I haven't created a repo class for this. All right, let's do that. Because I don't think this is going. This wouldn't have gone through. I doubt. No. All right. Yeah, I bet that doesn't exist. No, it doesn't. All right. Let's create a repo class. It's just blank for now. We don't need to worry about Stripe Web Hook repository. There we go. And it is a Stripe Webhook. Stripe Webhook repository. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Clear this all. Whilst we're at it, we also need to do one for the status, I think. So this is Stripe Webhook status repo. Passing in the Stripe Webhook status. Okay. Let's get rid of that for a sec, and also this one too. Right. Now they're done. Let's see if we can run it once more. Okay, so that's come through here. So we just have to wait. Here we go. Okay, we've got unrecognized field name, internal name. So this is because of the yeah, I think at this point, because I'm just firing requests at Stripe and Stripe is just going, here you go, and now there's so many errors with my side of the table, I think it's time to write some tests, because these are stupid errors. These are silly mistakes. Unrecognized field, internal name. I know exactly why that is, but you know, who knows? There could be another error after this. So I've created enough code without any tests. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to write some tests for not only the things that we've already done, but also the failures. I think that's probably wise. Otherwise, I'll be chasing my tail. But first of all, I just want to, again, check on Murph, because he's... I just want to make sure he's alright. He was alright earlier. I just wanted to make sure that he didn't... I took him outside, but I don't think he went to the loo, so I'm going to try it again. See you in a bit. Murphy's fine. Okay, so got about half an hour really I've left of this stream, so I could try and go down this route and fix these issues, or I could do the right thing and test my code. This error here, let's just write a test to solve this. Right, unrecognized field, internal name. And I believe this is coming off of the back of it's in here, isn't it? It's in get status, internal name. Find by internal name. Ah. Well, that fixes that. Ah, dear. Okay. Well, let's just give it a run. Let's do it again. What could go wrong? I don't know. It's still unrecognized. Okay. Let's put the brakes on and save this, because this is obviously our problem. Find by. That should be find one by, not find by. Why can we not find an internal name? It's because internal name needs to be set like this. It doesn't have an underscore. Okay, so that's that problem done. But before I run the test, or before I run the thing, I'm going to actually write a test for this, because I want to, first of all, let's try and reproduce this issue as a test. So we go to, this would be an integration test. It would be in a repo, and let's just grab one of these. So this would be Stripe Webhook status repository test. Yep. Let's change that to be what it should be. We've got the entity manager here. This is a Stripe webhook status. Okay, I suppose the first test we could do would be a Stripe. It would be that one, wouldn't it? All right, I guess that's the first one. Stripe web hook status. And the second one, well, let's just get this one working first, right? So let's go into here. We've got this, that's the database, that's the logging. Let's create a new window. Just move that over here for a second. Let's do an eval and a CD. And let's do a dive into the shell. Ugh. Come on, Bash. There we go. It would be bin code set run integration -g, and I just want to make sure that this can run. And that should be repository, not manager. So that should pass. I mean, that's just a basic test, right? Okay, but the thing that we want to check was test find by internal name. So webhook status constructor find by internal name. Okay, so there's that. We want to do repo find one by, and we pass this in as internal name. And the internal name that we're passing was Stripe status new, I believe. And this was the status. And to test this, we need to make sure that status is an instance of, so assert instance of, is that the so that should be Stripe Webhook status class, right? So let's run that. Now we should have one that passes, which is the one that we've just done, our sort of our control test. And then this one should fail, and we should have the unrecognized field name, internal name, which is exactly what we're getting here. So we can now replicate that as the bug. Whoops. So I think to fix it, it needs to be that. I think. Whoops. So let's run those. Yay, they passed. So we go back over to the handler, and there we go. That should be good. So let's move that over to there. Let's run that. Here we go. Okay, something's happening, but then we got a column not found, unknown column event ID in field list. Hey, okay. This is because a test rebuilds the database, and I haven't done that yet. So okay, yeah. No, I know why this is. I know why this is. I kind of need another window. Let's come out of this shell. What I need to do is a make db test. Come on. Rebuild. Hello? There we go. Because what this will do is it will rebuild the database and create a new dump file, which is used for every test. Okay. There we go. So we've created a new dump file now, which means that if I was to sorry, if I was to run this again, So that was created 1730. Yeah, there we go. Something's gone in. We've got a 200 OK, and if I did a select all from Stripe Webhook, yes, look at that. We have our webhook saved safely. Sweet. That's the type. That's the internal ID. And this is the Stripe object that we've got. I'm so over the moon by that. That is awesome. Ah, man. I didn't think we would get this far today. I really didn't. I really did not think we would get this far. Hey, Dota 2. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining. Wow. Okay, so that's really cool. So we can now request Stripe webhooks and then validate their requests. We can issue a Stripe webhook, validate its request, and then when we deem the request to be valid, we then save that to the database. Brilliant stuff. I mean, that's the first part of this challenge to do. The next part is to write a command that loops through these, and that's the event ID there. Loops through these, finds the new ones and processes them. Gosh, okay. I am over the moon there. All right, let's get rid of this. So, all right, I think before we do anything further, let's just take a step back a minute. We know that we can save it into the database. There's no need to run any more events because we've got them through. That's great. I think what we need to do now is, I'm just going to bring that up to there. I think it's useful to still have the logs running. At this stage, I'm going to just run make tests because this is going to run PHP stan. It's going to run PHP CBF. I mean, you've seen me run this before. So right now, it's already fixed some style issues. So we'll run that again. And we'll just sort of get this code in a sort of a stable set. Stabilize it for a bit. I think that's probably wise before I run off and do the job stuff. With that, it is creating console commands. So I'm pretty sure PHP stan is going to throw an error on at least one line, if not 10.
Hello, coders.
So we've got 5 errors now. That's not bad. I thought I did actually think we would have 10. Hey, MattCon. MattCon. I think I just said MattCon. MattCon. Hey, thank you, MattCon, for following. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So, there's less errors in here that I thought we would have, but let's work through them. So an exception on the Stripe webhook exception. Now this is something that we haven't even used yet. It was something I built yesterday because I thought that we would need to have our own unique exceptions. Turns out that I haven't actually used them yet, and in fact the exceptions on the well, I'll tell you what. Let's skip over these because we might look at the exceptions later. So let's look at these two first up. So Stripe handler, parameter 1, payload of static webhook construct event expects a string, resource, or a string, expects a string, but a resource or a string is given. All right, so line 67 of webhook handler. Interesting. Well, I'm on the webhook handler already. Line 67. So it's false, null, resource, or a string. That's what's returned from here. And we are after a string. So could I not just cast this to a string? But now I'm worried, because what happens if that is false or null? I think what we need to do is this: payload is equal to request get payload. Sorry, get content, beg your pardon. Oh, hang on, there's an as resource. As resource is false. If true, a resource will be returned. Well, that's not what I want. Anyway, so that's fine. I guess what we need to do is do an if empty come on, stupid keyboard, come on, payload, if empty payload, then we throw an exception. I suppose at this stage we could throw our the new Stripe exception payload. I don't know. Yeah, those were my tests. Right, so then that's now payload. So that's checking whether that's empty. So that requires a payload, and the payload here is a string. Right, okay. So not only do I need to check whether it's empty, but I also need to check. No, I'm casting it to a string. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Let's just let's run that again. Yeah, I agree. I feel for you on that statement there. Testing takes a lot of time, and as you rightly said, discipline. Yeah, it does. It does. But it's worth it. The time, though, I do believe the time spent testing your work is actually saved in the long run. Yeah. Because, like, this project, for instance, has quite a lot of, well, it has enough tests for me to be kind of happy. But it's got enough tests for me to be confident. I guess that's the word, confidence. It gives me confidence for when I upgrade my system, when I upgrade things like Symfony, when I upgrade things like PHP we're running PHP 7.4 at the moment, so when I move it to 8. So I've got enough confidence that I have touched enough things to tell me before I even push it to production, whether or not the upgrade is going to be successful. And there's been, there's loads of projects that you can't say that. Yeah, so I think it's not a case of being happy with tests, it's being confident that you've covered enough space. At the moment with this Stripe stuff, I haven't covered, I'm not confident with it at all. But this is why I've stopped running the webhook requests now, because, the errors that we're finding are the errors on my side. Even though it's all configured, these are coding errors. So rather than bombard Stripe with requests and change, one line at a time, it's a case of, right, let's try and replicate the errors that are in the log files as tests, as failing tests, fix the failing test by fixing the code, and then running that request again. That's kind of that rinse and repeat cycle that I'm trying to do. Okay, so this Webhook Validator now, parameter 1 of JSON function decode string expects a string of resource. So a resource or a string is given. Okay, again, I think I can just cast this. This is fine. So this is in the Webhook blah, blah, thingy, isn't it? Let's just load that up. So this is in the Webhook Validator. And what was the line? It was 30. Down here. Aha. Again, this is the... Yeah, I could do that. That should work. And testing isn't always just like unit tests or end-to-end tests. It's also these things. PHP CBF, PHP Stan, PASM or FASM or whatever you call it, PHP MD, all of those things will give you some reports, some quick feedback on the code. So right now we've got the Stripe Webhook exception. Now this is a piece of code that isn't actually in use. I built this because these are exceptions that will be handled when by my so when the webhooks are stored, when the payloads are stored in the database, they'll be picked up by a job which processes those. It's like processing a queue essentially, and the exception handler, the Stripe exception is a new exception that I've created specifically for that. So I think I do want to keep it around, even though I'm not using it right now, just because I haven't got to that point of the feature set. So maybe we should just fix these. So on line 14, method at Stripe Webhook exception has a parameter code with no type int specified. I think these are pretty straightforward to fix. So I'm gonna just copy that, paste that in, go into there, paste that. I think it was line 14, I remember. Yeah, it's these things. So message should be a aha. I see. So that's a string. This is an int. That's a throwable. Okay, so I think we've covered those two. So then line 33, which is down here, is a binary operation between ID and Ramsey interface. Okay, yeah, because this isn't good, is it? This should be a toString. Right. Let's tidy that up. Let's run Stan, or let's just run all the tests. Do I use domain-driven design? I can't say I have. Not really. Or maybe I have and I've just not realized it, you know. But I haven't set out to use it. Not really. I mean, I've heard of it. I actually have a book on it, but I haven't, because I haven't really used it. I don't really understand it. It's something to do with creating domains of logic. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, right? But no, I can't say I have. I'm sure, though, it's one of those things that I'm sure that if I learnt it, it would make sense. So now this is running all the unit tests. And I would probably use it a lot, I think, if it was any good. I remember it's kind of like where I was when I started learning TDD or just testing. I had heard of it, and I had sort of like my half a toe in the water of it, but it was proving to be quite painful to grasp during the early stages of understanding. That's the problem with these technical things, is you have to go through a phase of learning and understanding these things, and as you're doing it, you're making a lot of mistakes. And especially with TDD, is if you make a lot of mistakes, as you will, you'll find that it's going to take ages, and then as I did, I learned to hate it. But then I've come around because I realize how useful it is. So it's kind of, for me at least, there's always that cycle of learning. It's sort of like, you're aware of something in programming, but because there's so much of the things in programming that there's more things in programming that I will never know than the things that I do know. Because it's just such a vast thing. But yeah, when I start learning something, it will be like, I'll find it as a struggle, I think. Now it's doing the end-to-end tests. I'll find it as a struggle at first. But the more I bash on about it, the easier it'll become, I think. Testing took ages for me to grasp. Just the whole concept of testing code seemed ridiculous. When I was learning it, it was just like, why do I have to write code to test the code that I've already written? That doesn't make any sense. Surely I'm just making more work for myself. And quite rightly, I was making, at that time, because I didn't know how to actually write tests properly, and I still don't to a degree, I was making fragile tests. So because I did it wrong, because the thing is, you'll never ever, or very rarely at least, pick something up from a book and go, right, I know it, and I know it like the back of my hand, and I know it, I can just do it. For me, things rarely come naturally. So I'll always struggle at first. I make a right hash out of it. /rant. Sounds like a big project. It sounds like a very big project. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, because this is going to take a long time, because it's running Selenium. I am going to. We've got 10 minutes left, so this won't get finished by then. I think what I'm going to do is take a look at the logging. I think I'm going to write some documentation for the last 10 minutes. Maybe some stubs, stubby code. So up in the commands, I'm going to create a actually no, I think what I'm going to do is just create a README file. That's probably what I'm going to do. Down in here, I'm going to just create a README file, or update this README file with new keyboard. Where's the hash? There we go. Stripe Webhooks. Okay, so webhooks. Webhooks are saved to the database. It's just incoming webhooks are saved to the database. To process the webhook payloads, run the following. So I think I'm going to create a command called it's going to be bin console. And I think there's going to be two commands. The first command is going to be q. No, let's do webhook. No, let's not do that. Let's do q report. So this one to see the queued report, to see the queued webhooks report, webhook report, run the following. So this is going to return a report of how many items are in the queue and the type. So basically, I think it needs to have count and where's the type? Okay, and it's probably the other way around. Type and count. So this will return a table in the console of the event type. So we can do event type. Incoming events are saved to the database. To see the queued events, that's making sense. To see the queued events, run the following. Okay, so that's so this is an example output. Like that. So this would be like payment, or what was the event called that we were processing? This one here. Something like that. I basically want a way to see what events are currently in the queue. I also think there needs to be something else. I think there needs to be like we got the queue report. We also have an error. I think we need an error report. Queue error report, because we've got that exception field in the database. So I think that would be the type, that would be the count, and we would group them by the exception. I mean, I might be going a bit too far with this, to be fair, but because now we need an exception type, or an exception summary of the error. I don't know. Then after this, to see of the queued events, run the following, and then to see a report for the queue for okay. So once we've done that, we also need to we obviously need to process these things, right? So to process so I think what we could do is we could do queue processor. Now, of course, what I've just realized is that we need to have, that'll be like app. It will be like Stripe. There we go. And we'll probably need to do Stripe event queue report. So none of this is, I haven't got any of this working yet. This is just me throwing what's in my head down on paper, so to speak. So this would be queue error report. And then this would be, again, bin console. So these are the things that I'm gonna try and build. App Stripe event, and then this would be there would be a queue processor, right? And this would process, and we would pass in type, and that would be payment intent created, something like that. So it will process that type. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Those projects will only get bigger. Trust me. Yeah. Okay, so good. Okay, I think how have we done on these tests? Okay, we're still going through them. Okay, we're probably gonna. I'll just let them run. But anyway, I am going to dive off because I'm going to grab my my Sunday dinner, which I've been looking forward to all day. We have done so much today. It's unreal. I can't believe how much we've done. I thought this was going to be a right pain, but we managed to do it in a stream. I can't believe it. The very basics of getting Stripe to communicate to our local How to Code Well, and then we save the events. That's great. So now it's the working on the other side. I mean, I've got to write tests for all of this stuff that we've just done, because it was naughty of me that I didn't do anything in TDD. But sometimes it's good to just, throw code on the page and see what happens. But that's one definite thing I need to do before I even do anything else, is to actually write tests to back up what we've done, and to get some confidence going. But then after that, so maybe next Sunday, because I'll be doing all this in the evening. So over the coming evenings. So after all that's done, we'll then work through these console commands. I think that this one will probably be the first one I'll do, is to write a command that will list the events and account of the events. And then this one's going to be tricky, because we can't really do anything with this until we actually have any errors. So maybe this one I'll do sort of later. This one is definitely something that I want to work through. The queue processor. Yeah. So this is, and I need to work out what it is that I actually need to achieve when I run these things. Like, what do I do now? If a subscription has been created or whatever, what is it that I actually have to do on my end to enable the user to have access to those things? But it's such a good feeling to get to this point. It's great. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, everyone. Happy coding, and I'll see you again on Tuesday. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.